Carly and welcome to the yoga session today. So this session is for prenatal women in any trimester, so it's going to be safe for everybody, and what I want to do is begin strengthening our transverse abdominis muscle and our pelvic floor. I'll explain more what they do, and also really stretch out those areas that are tense so that we can leave feeling relaxed and comfortable. So options are you can have a couple of blocks like this. Check out the other video which explains what equipment you may or may not need. Everything's optional and there's always alternatives. If you don't have blocks like this, then books can be a good option. And I really like having a small soft block which I sit on. But again, that will really depend on if you feel like you need that, but for me, I find that good. So I'm just going to start in a comfortable seated position and just begin to ground yourself. Just bring the shoulders up to the ears, round them back, and let them drop towards the ground. Wanting to hold yourself up high, chest open, chin parallel to the floor, and those sitting bones are grounding down. And if cross-legged isn't comfortable for you today, then you can have the legs out long or even be in a kneeling position. It's really up to you. I'm just going to spend a couple of moments just focusing in on the breath. Taking an inhale and an exhale through the nose. Do that a couple more times. And just notice what you can hear. Just being mindful, not trying to change anything. Just noticing. You can let the eyes close or just have a soft gaze. Now we're just going to reach those shoulders up to our ears again and round. Reaching them up and round. You can take the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders now. Inhale, up, and exhale, grounding down. And just do that with your own breath. Inhale, elbows reach up, and exhale down. This time we're going to inhale, reach both hands up to the sky, and exhale, fingertips just behind us, opening out through the chest. And you can look up. And just let the breath be easy here. And return. So in pregnancy, we're not wanting to hold breath. So I'll tell you when to inhale and exhale, but if that's not working for you, then just breathe easily. So we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, fingertips just behind us on the mat again, opening out through the chest, looking up to the ceiling. Inhale, and exhale, hands to the side, and just back, opening the chest again. Now we're going to exhale to round forwards, as if we're holding a big beach ball, stretching out the upper back. Inhale, hands to knees, and open. Exhale, rounding through again. And return to center. This time, going to inhale to reach the right arm up, and exhale, just taking it over to one side, stretching down the side of the body, imagining your back's against a wall. Inhale, reach up, getting a little bit taller, and exhale, taking it to the other side. Just notice if you're holding any tension. Inhale, reach up, exhale to the other side. If you're holding any tension in your face muscles, we like to hold tension in our forehead, around the eyes and the jaw, so just let that go. Inhale up and exhale to the other side. Now just returning to center. I'm just going to make U shapes with the nose. Again, matching it to your inhale and your exhale, if you'd like to. Leading with the nose, just to protect the neck. Just one final time. And return. I want you to have your hands at your heart. We're just going to start getting a bit of movement through the wrists, so this can be beneficial for things like carpal tunnel that can develop later on in pregnancy. So we're going to open out the hands as if we're looking at our palms, as if they're a book. Take the backs of the hands together. The fingertips are going to come towards you and then down, and then coming out in front of you. We're going to reverse that movement, so bringing the fingertips down towards you, and now front of the hands, palms of the hands come together, back hand to heart. We'll just repeat that. So opening the hands like a book, backs of the hands together, fingertips come towards you, down, and then reaching out and reversing that movement. We're going to do that one more time. And then finally, just for our mobility, we're just going to take our right leg out long, and the left leg, the foot's just going to be against the thigh. So we're just warming through all of the joints before we continue on. We're just going to start rotating that ankle. You can just support yourself with your hands. You can have your hands behind you, hands to heart, whatever you want to do. And now just change the direction. So here, this is another really nice one to do as you progress along your pregnancy. You might find that your feet are starting to swell. This can help. It's not one of the symptoms that anybody enjoys, but this can help. Another thing, just having your feet elevated. Put your feet up when you can. We're going to switch legs now. So take the other leg out long. This time going to the left hand side and circling through that foot. Remember to keep your chest lifted, tummy button towards your spine. I know it's hard when there's a baby in there, but it's still reminding those muscles to work. And change direction. Now I'm bringing both feet now in front of you. If you have pelvic girdle pain, just avoid this one because it can put a lot of, it just puts the pressure on the symphysis pubis here. When I was pregnant, I found that quite difficult. So we're just going, if you've not got any pain, we're just going to butterfly the legs, opening out through the hips. If you've got pelvic girdle pain, we're going to keep the knees together, and you can take them gently over to one side and then over to the other side rather than butterflying. Now everybody come back together. We're going to take the knees under and plant the hands on the ground, coming into our all fours position. And here, first we just want to have a little check. Are our wrists under our shoulders, are our knees under our hips, and are our feet making little train tracks behind us rather than big toes together or big toes out? And here in pregnancy, if you're used to doing yoga, we aren't going to do a traditional cat-cow. We're going to be doing tabletop to cat. So inhale, tabletop, and exhale, cat. And really draw that tummy button in towards your spine. And just do that with your own breath. And the reason that we're not doing the full cat-cow is we don't want to be putting any additional pressure on the front of our tummy. It's got a lot of growth to do. It's just best to not put any additional work on that in terms of stretching. Now I'm going to lift the right hand up high. Inhale and exhale, thread it through underneath. And here, if you feel like you've got the flexibility, you can come all the way down so that your head is on the ground. Or alternatively, you can just use a block here and just let your weight gently go. You're just wanting to feel a bit of stretch in the upper spine. And coming back up. Return to your all fours position. This time, inhale, lift the left hand up high, and exhale, thread through. Just breathe. And coming back through. So here, we're going to do a bit of work on the transverse abdominis muscle. So staying in your all fours, I want you to imagine, so you're bringing your tummy button in towards your spine. Imagine that you're hugging your baby towards you, and release. Now hug your baby in towards you again, and release. So here, in the later stages of pregnancy, we're able to use the baby's weight as a bit of resistance so that we're working that transverse abdominis muscle. There's going to be a whole other video on this for you to have a look at, so I won't go all into that now. But check that out so that you make sure that you're doing it right. So now, we're going to inhale to prepare and exhale. Take the right arm out, keeping equal pressure in the other 3 points of contact with the mat. And if you're feeling comfortable and stable, you can take out the opposite leg. Oh, you hear that crack? My hips. And now really push away with your hand. And keep your hips as if they have little headlights on each hip bone, and they're pointing down towards the mat. And your gaze is down towards the mat as well. Draw your tummy button in, and now release. Going to take that to the other side. So inhale, just prepare, lengthen. Exhale, you're going to take out the opposite arm. And when you're feeling comfortable, confident, you can take out that leg on the opposite side. Tummy button in towards you. Hug baby in. And remember, your hips are both pointing down. And release. So here, tuck the toes under. And just come back onto your tiptoes as I am here, just whilst you watch this. If you're in a first trimester, then we're going to do a normal kind of downward dog. If you're further on and bump's getting bigger, then I'll show you an alternative. So first, we could be coming up and just pedaling out that downward facing dog as we create some space in the hamstrings. Alternatively, you can keep a really deep bend in and just push through those hands. So from your all fours position, you're wanting to walk your hands forward a little bit into your downward dog, and then your hips are coming up to the sky. And then just pedal out those feet. And imagine that your ribs are coming towards the top of your thigh. And just find a bit of stillness here. Inhale. We're going to step the right foot through and drop the left knee. Flat, and the foot is now flat against the ground. Into our low lunge, chest open, gaze forwards. And now pushing up into this crescent lunge position, arms up above if you'd like to. And here, just feel a bit of a stretch in this muscle. So this is your hip flexor. As we progress along our pregnancy, that becomes quite tight as the weight of baby is kind of pulling us forward, and this muscle here becomes tight. So in yoga, we can start to balance that out by stretching. It feels really nice. We're just now going to take the weight back. The right leg is going to become straight, and here into a hamstring stretch. Again, you can grab your blocks here, because especially once you've got a big bump, it becomes a lot harder to get your fingers down to the ground. And in pregnancy, we have a hormone called relaxin, and that is helping your body prepare for birth, preparing to grow. So one of the problems is it can make your joints feel very flexible, and you can overdo your stretches, which can cause injury. So don't try to be pushing any of these stretches. They're just, in pregnancy, you just want to feel good. It's not about becoming as flexible as you can. And bringing that forwards. Just planting the hands down. And coming back to your downward facing dog. Alternatively, if you feel like you need a break, you can have the knees out wide into a child's pose. So you take which option you'd like to. If you're in your dog, you can pedal it out. You might be able to get a little bit deeper and just hold. Remember to breathe. This time we're going to step the left foot through. Drop the right knee, untuck the toe into our low lunge looking forwards, and then push through that left foot. Inhale, we're bringing our arms up. You can move the weight forwards a little bit to feel the stretch down the front of the hip. And just make sure your face muscles are relaxed, you've not built up any tension. And make sure those shoulders haven't creeped back up to the ears. That's what they like to do. Now bringing the weight back, straightening the front leg into our hamstring stretch, either using your blocks or the tips of your fingers. And now coming through just into kneeling. Maybe round those shoulders a little bit. I want you to tuck the toes again and come through into a little froggy position. I'll just face so that you can see. So you're going to be at the back of your mat in your frog like this. You can just move from one foot to the other. And this kind of position is quite good if you're wanting to have like quite an active labour. There'll be another series on active birth positions, which will be really, really useful. You can come down to your full squat. Some people find this really easy, others, like me, I've found this quite hard. It's taken me a long time to be able to do this. Other people go straight down into it, so otherwise stay on your toes if that's too much. Going to plant the fingers back down, hips up, toes, heel toe back in together, and slowly roll up. Here we go. Now, we're just going to start warming up. Just swing those arms back and forth. And now bringing a bit more movement, so squatting down. And just make sure that those knees aren't coming in or splaying outwards. You want your knees over your ankles, and you're imagining that you've got a straight line. Well, you're not imagining, you should have a straight line from your hips, your knees to your ankles. Should be getting that heart rate up a little bit now. Now we're going to swing side to side. I know that this can feel a little bit silly, but in all of my prenatal classes, people quite enjoy this one. You know why children do it now, it's quite satisfying. I hope you're starting to feel a bit warmer now. So, you're just going to stand in our mountain pose. So feet hip distance apart, toes facing forwards. And imagine you've got your big toe, your little toe, and the heel of your foot, and you're distributing the weight evenly. You're imagining that an upwards energy is kind of opening everything out at the front of the body, and a downwards energy is grounding down at the back, bringing the shoulders back and down, and hands open in front of you. So now, grounding down through the right foot, we're just going to lift the other off the ground. So you may want to be near a wall here, Just be somewhere that you're going to be supported. And we're just going to start circling through that hip. We're going to do a lot more hip work as it progresses. I feel like in my third trimester particularly, before bed every day, I'd just be hip circling. Round down again. Just going to change that to the other side. And release. So we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, imagine that we're sitting on our imaginary chair, taking the glance down, are your toes forward, are your legs in line, and hold. So the weight is back, the weight is in your heels. Inhale, come back up. We are going to be doing quite a lot of glute work as this progresses and as the pregnancy progresses. It's so important to keep those glutes strong, because in pregnancy they tend to turn off. That can have impacts with hip stability, an impact on hip stability. So you're wanting to remind them to work, and the glutes are quite good at responding to you thinking about them. So if you think, right, squeeze the bum cheeks, they will respond. You just need to tell them. Inhale, we're going to reach up, exhale, sit on your imaginary chair. Just breathe easily here. And on your next inhale, you're going to squeeze the glutes. Squeeze and come up. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down. Hold. And return. Let's just have hands to heart. And just let our breath return. Now just going to come into a 5-point start. So hands out either side. And our ankles are wanting to be roughly below our wrists. They can be slightly more in. One of the things, especially if you have PGP, is you're not going to want to be doing very large lateral movements, so that's sideways movements, because that's going to be putting more pressure on your symphysis pubis joint, which is the joint here. If you have got any pain here, just send me a message and we can have a little think about how we can modify things a little bit more if you need to do that. So we're going to turn your left toe out and bend that left knee. Gaze across your left hand, or the middle finger of your left hand, into our warrior two, not taking it too far, and just checking that the knee's not going over your toe. Tummy button in towards the spine, and just check that you are nicely, your centre of gravity is right down the middle of you. A lot of people are doing this or this, so we're wanting to be right in the middle. On your next exhale, we're going to drop the back hand to the thigh, and inhale, bring the left arm up into our reverse warrior. Now back into warrior two, back into our 5-point star, and taking it to the other side, so turning out the other toe this time, bending that knee, warrior two. Draw your baby in towards you again. Open out through your chest and gaze across that middle finger. Just take a look at your back arm, that it's not dropped down. Let's keep that strong. We want to keep those arms strong, ready for carrying our babies. And now we're going to reverse that warrior. Coming back to warrior two, and now turning the toes in, and just have a little look down. Your hands are on the hips now. Have a little look down, and you want your feet to be pointing towards the outer corners of your mat. And to inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, using the hips, hinge from the hips, fold forwards. And you can bring the hands towards the ground, so we're going to start off with blocks here. We'll start off just in a flat back position, And then if you feel comfortable, you can remove the blocks so that your hands come towards the ground and let the head hang loose. Just shake the head yes and no. Breathe easily. And now returning the hands to the hips. Inhale to squeeze the glutes, hinge from the hips, returning. And heel toe back. I'm going to inhale to reach up and exhale, fold down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rolling all the way up. And hands to heart. We're going to make our way back down, just for the final bit of relaxation. So meet me back down on your mat with grace. It can be really hard when pregnant. Well, my experience of pregnancy, anyway, I was not the most graceful, that is for sure. So we're going to be coming back now, and just with our feet out in front of us. I just want you to support yourself with your hands behind you, and just cross the right ankle over the left knee, stretching out that glute. Just find your inner smile. It's strange how you can feel a smile. Now we're going to switch legs. Keep your chest open. And release. You know, I've really enjoyed doing this yoga session with you today. So we're now going to go into Shavasana. So you can use one of your, if you've got a nice soft block, otherwise grab a pillow, grab a towel, grab a blanket, whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. I like to have one for my head, I like to have one between my knees, and I also like to have a blanket. So whatever is good for you, and then you're going to meet me on your left hand side. And just breathe deeply. We're just going to do a round of 4 breaths, and this can be really useful in labour, because once you've done this breath 4 times, that's going to be the same length of time as one of your contractions, when your contractions are at their peak. And I've done this, so I can tell you it is accurate. So once you've done 4 of them, you know you're through one of your big contractions, and it helps. So we're going to inhale for 4 through the nose, and exhale for 8 through the mouth. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale last time through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Now just let your breath return to its usual rhythm. And just notice what you can hear, and what you can feel. And sink deeper into your mat. And really well done for starting this journey. I know it's going to make things more comfortable. It's going to make you strong. I'm hoping it's going to make you happy. So I'll leave you here and just stay here for as long as you can, as long as you want. And I'll see you again soon.